Good morning. I have a couple questions to ask to start with. So how many of you are signing documents traditional way, pen and paper? How many of you have experience using electronic signatures? And do you do it regularly, on daily basis, weekly basis? Okay. So this is going to be the talk exactly about that, how to move from occasional use of electronic signature and strong identities in the business processes to really regular ones. SignWise is a service provider originating from Estonia but incorporated currently in UK. And we are exactly working with the enterprises and governments to be the true enablement of end-to-end business processes and really helping to go these organizations paperless. Can I switch the slide? Okay. So this is the traditional way of doing signatures in most of the world today. There are a couple prime reasons why most of the documents are done still on physical manner, and one of them is identity assurance, which is physically the presence of a person when interacting with its service provider, like a bank, for instance. So banks want to be absolutely assured that the person they are transacting is the one who is physically signing the documents. The signing part is easy, so this is just making sure that this particular information was the one what was signed. When moving into the end-to-end electronic or distant or remote servicing, then we are losing this physical touch. You can't anymore see physically who is the person you are transacting. And in this scenario, the electronic certificates come into the play, the infrastructure, what is available as well here in Iceland and in approximately 80 countries all over the world. The challenge is that you cannot do most of the things yet in electronic. We are working currently in 25 plus countries. In 10 of them we are in production. Iceland is something what we are preparing at the moment, and this is our kind of first official presence and entry to the market here. So what SignWise in essence is, we are an identity integration middleware which is making the e-services possible to accept and use the strong electronic identities for their business processes. And we are really have taken the approach that the service providers or the governments can really focus for the business process, and on the complex cryptography, on the complex different signing formats, this is where we come into the play. Typical tools for e-signing. There are more and more kind of rapid technology evolvement. So currently, heavily there is smart card-based technologies in use, but approximately 10 countries to use mobile ID-based platform like you have here in Iceland. The future is changing rapidly. Pretty soon we will see as well mobile phones without SIM cards anymore, so the certificates need to be out of physical secure element of the SIM as well. So identity in the cloud is definitely something what we see a lot in the future happening. So why we do that? Or why anyone should do that? So digital is part of our day-to-day life already, and when looking for the document management systems or loan origination systems, these have been electronic for decades already. Unfortunately, the business processes itself, they are semi-electronic. And this is a huge challenge, especially in the financial services industry, when looking about being compliant with the Know Your Customer procedures, anti-money laundering, and these regulations don't get lighter, they will get more complex and more strict globally. Second important thing is that the cloud technologies as such have been evolving, and today it is possible really to provision the electronic signature platforms in a cloud-based manner. So as a SaaS services, contributing to the core banking business processes and still being out of the bank premises. We have been having multiple well-known banks doing security and technical due diligence, and they are changing their policies based on the findings that actually it is possible to provision important trust services out of their premises as well. So why it's important? We all know that when signing the contract with a bank or doing an application to government or getting a certificate from them somewhere, there is a lot of time-consuming activities like queuing, going to the premises of the service provider. And the recent study done in Estonia found out that as in Estonia we are giving approximately 70 million electronic signatures annually. We have 1.3 million population. So it's roughly 60 electronic signatures given by each and every person in Estonia in average per year. Each and every electronic signature is able to save 45 minutes to 1 hour of the person transacting on the time manner. When we sum it up, we get 1 week, 1.5 week savings for each and every person in the country. If we do a kind of taking it into monetary value, we can talk about savings of 2 to 3% of GDP per year for the country. And in Estonia, we are spending 2% of our GDP to the defense expenses, and it's relatively easy to justify that this stuff really is valuable for the society as such. Important thing as well is that it's any contract, with kind of 2 exceptions, or at the moment 3, but pretty soon 2 exceptions. You still cannot marry and divorce electronically, so government still wants to protect people and see their true will and look into the eyes and ask, are you really sure? And second is when talking about taking a 30-year loan for your house, then obviously they try to protect the citizen. Banks would like to give all their money away, and we all do have experience what happens then. And third is opening bank account, but multiple countries in Europe are working already towards when the government approved certificates are issued, then this registry authority process is good enough to be compliant for banks, know your customer procedures and anti-money laundering things in order to open remotely as well bank accounts. First country in Europe who has done that is Germany. Estonia is following this summer, and a lot of other countries are following. What it really brings to the normal citizens, it means that if you have your Iceland issued electronic identity on your mobile or the digital ID on the smart card, you actually can open bank account in German bank without going to the bank physically. And that's a really strong thing to have. What are the other use cases? A number of truly end-to-end electronic business processes from the government side can be applied as well. And having the strong identity is really the true foundation for that, on having the fully electronic business registry in Estonia. You cannot do, as a person, to transact with business registry with papers. The only way is through notaries, if you don't have the identity. But if you don't want to pay for external third parties, then you do it always online, and et cetera, et cetera. When looking from the core services, then important aspect on that is really kind of talking about strong user authentication, getting the necessary information for service providers to do the authorization, electronic document signing, having legally binding, equal to handwritten, fully auditable e-signature on the documents, getting the validation of electronic signatures. So if a foreign person will submit the documents to your business registry, or do your bank, then how to validate these. So it gets more and more important when looking for the European-wide initiatives driven by the European Commission in the coming years. As well, secure information delivery between the parties, like bank and the customers. How to deliver bank secrecy to the single citizen through the electronic channels with the means which doesn't include to have complex cryptography containers or infrastructure to be teaching for the users. When talking about the banner customers, then obviously for us, the financial services industry is the biggest target. Danske Bank is the biggest bank in production for us at the moment. And on the mobile network operator side, working with 5 globally known MNOs to roll out similar platform like you have with Outkenny and Mobile ID here in Iceland. So how it works? As we are focusing for the companies and to the business processes, that it's crucially important to have the infrastructure what is really easy to integrate into these back-end or front-end systems, and it's really easy to users to interact with the service. There are 2 types of integrations. One is kind of real-time, like internet bank. You do the payment, you sign it, and everything happens within the same active session. The business process is more or less executed while user is on the internet bank. Or the other way is to have, so to say, offline business processes of like contract origination. Your back-end people are preparing the contract, and at a certain point of time in the past, they hit it print button, and the physical papers were taken out. So we are replacing that, everything from that print transaction, getting the notifications out to the users. Notifications like that can be done over the email or SMS, and then it's up to the user to react within the given time to the transaction. User clicks to the link and gets into the service where the physical user authentication happens. Can we switch the screen? So when talking about authentication, so in different countries, as I said, there are different tokens available. In some of the countries, just smart card based. In some of the countries, just mobile ID. In some of the countries, both of them, plus USB crypto tokens, as well cloud identity coming into the picture. I will show you the way how with the mobile ID interaction with the service would look like. So I'm using my own government-issued mobile certificates for that. In the Estonian case, we have added additional security measure with the personal code. So if I'm activating the use of my certificates, I'm always forced to use my personal code in order to get better assurance from the certificate authority that I am the owner of these certificates. When I start the authentication, so first thing through the certificate authorities, they are checking that are these certificates associated with this personal code, and are these valid? If yes, then as in your case, the certificate authority is generating the verification code. The verification code is presented on the user interface, as well on your mobile. So I'm entering my authentication PIN, and in brief moment, the roaming SMS is doing their job, and I'm admitted to the service. Voila. So when I'm in the service, now next activities are started. So important aspect is up to this very moment, if this would be a bank contract, none of the physical documents have been sent out from the bank yet. So everything is still metadata based or just an information related to the transaction. And I see the document, what has been shared to me personally. If, for instance, NSA would have captured that email and tried to click that link and use some other certificates, then they would be unfortunately said that sorry, but you cannot access this particular document. I see that my customer have signed that document already, and now it's my turn to sign the document on behalf of the organization. So if I'm reading it, it should be rental contract. I'm not very good yet in Icelandic, so sorry for that. Before signing, always from the service provider's point of view, it's important that user is giving the additional consent, that he understands what he does as the legal effect to the document is happening. And if everything is okay, I'm starting the signing. Again, verification code is sent. Now I see as well Leikusamingur, the name of the document as well with whom I'm transacting. Sorry, I cannot pronounce it yet. I will improve myself. I get the verification code. I enter my secure PIN for activating the use of my signing certificates. And if they are correct, then we are retrieving from the originating system the physical document, generating the signature, and refreshing the page. And going into the last page of the document, and I see that there is successfully 2 signatures from parties, and the rental contract is valid. Now, if for some reason my customer doesn't kind of do his stuff, then this contract is valid all over Europe. So there is no question that he personally was using his non-repudiation certificates, and there is no question to challenge the case and get my kind of, as a service provider, risks covered on that side. It took more or less a couple minutes. Once transaction is complete, all the parties will receive their kind of notification. They can download their own copy or store it in the Dropbox-like portal in SignWise, and off we go. We can start the next stuff. So no need to travel, no need to think who is the other person. Government did that for us already. Any questions? Okay, shall we go back to the slides? So, as I mentioned in the beginning of my speech, so we are just doing the first steps on entering the local market. We have good partner who have joined our team, Olafur. Can you stand up? So we will be around here today during the conference, or Olafur remains longer in Iceland. I'm leaving out this Saturday. So if you feel you have any questions, topics you wish to ask, problems, whatever challenges, then we are here now. And yeah, tack för